Greetings, welcome. It's Dan Gregory here, the leader of the Yes Group in Bristol. I have the honor and pleasure this evening to be speaking with this month's very special guest, Allan Kleynhans, who's a dear friend of mine. We've known each other now for probably 10 years. He's an incredible human being. When we first met, we actually met working with Tony Robbins in London, and we just have formed an immediate connection, and we've done some great stuff together over the years, and it's a real honor to introduce him to our group here in Bristol. But of course, for those of you regulars, you'll know that he's no stranger to the group here in Bristol, and indeed the Yes Group worldwide, a regular contributor and speaker across the Yes Group, and has previously spoken in Bristol. So Allan, big welcome. Great to be speaking to you tonight.
Hey, Dan, great to be here with you, my friend. And you know, it's funny that you were talking about how we met, because I was just telling Sonia about that the other day, how we met.
Amazing.
She asked me how we know each other, and I was telling her about how we were both on the fire team together the first time we ever met, right? And I was telling you about my friend Stack Up, and you said you were in the video. Remember the promotional
absolutely.
video?
Well, I was in the original marketing video for this product that was released in Belgium originally. So, Allan, good to have you. We're really excited to have you on Tuesday night. We've got a big night ahead. For those watching right now, give us a little flavor about what your work's all about. What is, you know, we've seen you before here in Bristol, but we'd love to know a bit about what is your core focus? What are you working on? What's on your mind at the moment?
Thanks, Dan. Well, first of all, I'm very, very excited to be coming back to the Bristol Yes Group. It's been a long time since I was there. And I'm excited that you are actually the chair of the Bristol Yes Group, because I think the last time I was there, you were in the audience, and
Yes.
you were actually speaking the month after me, if I remember correctly, or you had spoken the month before me or something. I can't remember, but I know that you were.
I think we even spoke at the same event. I think I was on before you, actually, thinking about it.
Actually, you're right. You're right. It just came back to you. You spoke before me at the same event. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
We both knocked a home run there. And so I'm excited to be coming back for sure. It's going to be great fun. To answer your question, my work is really about, without sounding, you know, even when I say it, you know, sometimes when I say it, but really what it is about healing people. You know, I've started to really see myself as a healer, and I've started to use that phrase. You know, when people say, "What do you do?" and I say, "Well, I heal people's hearts," and people say, "Well, how do you do that?" and I say, "Well, if you think that everyone experiences trauma, every human being experiences trauma, and we all experience trauma in our very, very early years, and often we experience trauma while we are still in the mother's womb, still, you know, in the form of becoming, you know, a baby, while we are still in that ingestation period, you know, as a, you know, before you've even been born, and then often we experience trauma before we even come to this life. You know, we bring that with us, but especially once we've been born. And people forget that most births are very traumatic just by the very nature of how we come into the world. And then we experience trauma in the earliest years. And then what happens is we form these false definitions of reality, these false premises about who we are and who we aren't. And then what that does is it gets in our way. So to answer that question of yours, really, my work is really centering around how do you help people to really connect with the authenticity of who they are, you know, the highest part of themselves. And so they can get out of their own way and really express themselves in a very powerful way, you know, and enjoy the life they came here to live. So I hope that answers the question somewhat. You know, and it's awesome work. You know, I love it. You know, it's my work has evolved over the years. You know, but really, it's really about that. It's the premise of my work is spiritual consciousness. It is really helping people to understand what is their highest purpose for being on this earth, you know, and then healing anything that doesn't serve that highest purpose.
Excellent. And you know, we've seen, you know, footage of you all around the world speaking, sharing your message. So, you know, give the audience a bit of flavor about how you deliver your work. You know, you've got a great reputation as one of the foremost speakers in the UK and if not Europe in terms of the kind of message that you're sharing. Could you share a little bit about how you're sharing that message, and you know what you've been up to in terms of your work so far this year?
I'm very grateful. I mean, when I think about, you know, where I've been and where I've been invited to and where I'm being invited to now, I've just actually answered an email for another invite to a fantastic opportunity later this year in another country, and it's wonderful. You know, I'm really blessed. Every morning I wake up, I say thank you so much. You know, and I think really my main passion is being in front of a group of people. Everyone is their own particular skill set or their own particular expertise or their own particular area of mastery. And I think over the years, because I've consciously focused on it, my most comfortable place is with a group of people, And so I call it group dynamics, And so I love group dynamics. I love working with groups. I love working with people one-on-one, but mainly groups, because in a group, it's a very unique environment, because it offers people the ability to really open up in front of a group. And when people do that, when they feel safe enough to open up in front of a group and really deal with what's really preventing them from recognizing their true power, that creates all kinds of transformation. So that's my favorite place to do that kind of work. And I speak on this subject all around the world, and it's been such a great journey, man. I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to an amazing year, because I think, just to elaborate a little bit, Dan, you and I have been in this game a long time, and, you also got a corporate background just like myself. And, when you look at what's really ailing people nowadays is this whole thing. Personally, I truly believe that this whole thing about, achieve, hustle, money. Money is good. Just like Bob Proctor always says, you can't live on this stuff, but it's right up there with oxygen. You need it, right? But at the same time, the thing that causes the biggest pain for people in the world today is their separation from their true self, and we get separated from our true self right from the moment we're born. And then everything that we grow up around, all the conditioning, the social environments, all the environments that we grow up in, just constantly, widens that separation, the older we get, until we are so divided from who we really are that we end up, forming all these false masks, and then having these masks on, and then we think we need to be a certain way to get things. And that's what really, what causes the biggest stumbling blocks for people. So my mission is to really, transform one audience at a time, one person at a time. And I've got this self-proclaimed mission to transform global consciousness, one audience at a time.
Amazing. So, Allan, there's a couple of things I want to touch on in a minute in terms of what you've just said there, but that piece around the mask and the people wearing that mask and that separation, how does that typically, for people watching this thinking about, should I come to the event on Tuesday?
Yeah.
What are the most common ways you see that showing up in people's lives, that separation, or those masks, so that, if people's watching this, they can identify, actually, yes, I'm experiencing that. I get that. So they understand that actually this is the place to come and find that shift.
Yeah. Well, the most common way for people is to follow the wrong career path. That's the most common thing that we see in the world now. The whole education system is set up like that. Parents are constantly telling their children to follow certain career paths. And then I work with people all the time. I can tell you now, 95% of my coaching clients, in terms of, business owners, have discovered 25 years, 35 years later, 40 years later, they've gone down they've gone down a career path. They've become very successful financially. They've got very high standing in their environments. They're looked upon as really, really, experts in their field, lawyers, doctors, etc. But they discovered that they're unhappy because they're doing something, and they're doing something because they were told it was the right thing to do, and because it would give them the best income, right? But it wasn't in line with their heart. It wasn't in line with their true self. So what we have is we have people who are doing the wrong thing, or doing something that's not in line with who they truly are. Then also another common thing is that people they feel that they need to be strong all the time. We don't encourage people to feel. So then we have people who are not feeling, right? We're not feeling emotion properly the way we're supposed to feel emotion. So we've got these masks on that make us be strong, especially men. So that's why we got so much suicide with men, especially here in the UK, and suicide in general, because people are not encouraged to feel what as an emotional being. We're a feeling being. So these masks show up in so many different ways, in relationships, in careers, in, as a parent, as a child, etc. And then people are just out of sync with who they really are, and I think that's the greatest challenge that we face in the world today, is that when people are not encouraged to follow their own calling. And I heard Wayne Dyer say this I was listening to Wayne Dyer, as I usually do, and he reminded me about the same principles that Maxine, my ex-wife, and I have encouraged with our children, is we don't tell them what to do. We don't tell them which path they should go. We've always said to them, listen, follow your own trail, but as long as you do it 100%, we back you 100%. But, if you want to come to us, if they want to come to me for advice, I'll give them advice, but I don't say you should do that because I think that's good for you. I say to them, you should do whatever you feel like doing, and I'll back you 100% if you go for it 100%. You can't do anything half-cocked. whatever you decide to do, whether that's a DJ or a YouTuber or whatever, right? A doctor, it doesn't matter. And my son has changed his idea on what he should do for his life 5 times over the last 5 years, you know? But I've always said to him, I don't care what you do, as long as you do it 100% and you have fun doing it, because I believe that that's the best way to live your life, right? And Wayne Dyer said the same thing. He's got 8 children. He's never told his children that they should be doing something to please other people. They should always do what pleases themselves.
Yes, and one of the things I always remember you saying to me is, nothing's ever in the way, everything's on the way. And actually, that journey of trying to find the right path for you, I always say to people, we eat breakfast cereal here in the UK. You don't typically have your first bowl of cereal and that's your favorite thing for life. It's your favorite food forever. You have to try numerous different things in order to see what really resonates with who you really are, and what's the best food for you. But actually, the same is true in terms of finding our path. We have to try a variety of different things. Yes. And what's really interesting about your work in particular, and this is what we've been talking about in the build up to the event, is that, and you and I have been in the personal development industry for a long time, and for the last 10 years, personal development has really been at the crux of what I've been doing. But actually, funny enough, it's only when I started to look at the higher consciousness work and the spiritual side, which I'd actually pushed away for a long time because of some of the connotations around it and some misperceptions around that inner work and that level of higher consciousness that is accessible to all of us. But actually within 3 to 6 months of actually starting to move into that space, I would say the results that I got in that period of time, in just the 3 to 6 months, were astronomical compared to what had previously followed over the previous 10 years. Now, that 10 years probably gave me the grounding that I needed to enter in that space. But, part of the work I'm driven to do now, and the reason we want to bring you into Bristol, is because actually the quicker you can get into that space where you open up to that higher consciousness, the faster you can move your results. And actually you don't need to go through 10 years of personal development to get there. So, part of the reason I'm really excited to have you with us is to help people access that part of their personal development journey, because there is so much stuff out there around tactics and strategies and whatnot, and they will help you get those incremental changes. But actually to get exponential change and actually help people to find their purpose and their path, the type of work you're doing with the awakened self is really what I feel that the world needs right now, because it's in transition, and actually it's only through that shift in consciousness, it's my belief, that we can actually achieve those results. So talk to me a little bit about that your perception of what consciousness means, and how understanding how to tap into your higher consciousness can help someone really accelerate their results towards whatever end it is.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to... Yeah, cool. Well, first of all, I just want to say I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I loved what you said. And there's a couple of things I wanted to just fantastic environment. I love it. It's a fantastic industry. It's a fantastic subject. I love everything about it. It's what, and it's but it's also very closely intrinsically linked to your spiritual development, because you cannot develop your person, which is what personal development is developing your person, right? Developing the person you are inside. And education is about bringing out what's inside already. Educo comes from Latin, right? To bring out what's inside already. So personal development means to develop the person you are inside already. And you cannot develop the person you are without developing your spiritual consciousness, because you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are spirit, right? You are not a body. You are not your hand. You're not your hair. You're not your name. You're not your vocation. You're not your job. You're not even your body. When you lie down to rest, what happens to what was inside the body, right? When you lie down for the final time and you pass away, what was inside the body continues on, right? Because it's the nature of energy, and energy never disappears, and you cannot create it, you cannot destroy it. It always was, it always is, it always will be. And that's who we are energetically. So really, it's about recognizing that when you live here in the world, you have to be able to use your ego in a very conscious, creative way, in a constructing way, because if you don't use your ego in a conscious way, your ego will use you. So you're either, again, referring to Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite teachers, you either are a slave to your ego or you're a host to God. And so like you said something just now, which I want to elaborate on. You said that, because of the connotations, you didn't really go there for a while, right?
Yes.
I was the same as you, man. I went to 2 Catholic schools as a youngster. And so what I had this, when I started to study, and I started to have these insights and these learnings, and I started to tap into my own, into my own knowing, which is what consciousness is about. It's about a knowing, right? An inner knowing, and about elaborating on that inner knowing, expanding that inner knowing that already is inside of you. But I was afraid of I was afraid of the word God, because I didn't want, I had that same thing about connotation about, God and religion and all that kind of stuff. So I refrained from that for a long time, and I resisted and kind of, resisted is the right word. I resisted even having a conversation, talking about that. But inside, I knew that there was something inside of me that needed to come out, right? There was this conversation that I needed to elaborate on with myself. And so like you, as soon as I started to elaborate on that and started to investigate that and to really expand my understanding in that subject, then everything started to open up in beautiful ways, right? And like you, I agree with the fact that you can have a certain level of success as an achiever in whatever environment that is, but you can expand your success so much faster and so much deeper and so much more fulfilling. And it's such a more constructs the spiritual of your here on earth. Why have you manifested in this body? It's not just to go to work and earn money and own a home and raise children and then you die, right? It's much deeper than that. It's a much higher calling. And so when you understand the nature between the two worlds, the matter and the physical and the metaphysical, and you can elaborate on both of those areas, and you can expand about those areas and educate yourself in both areas and bring them together, and then understand that, everything that's happened to you, like you said, everything's on the way, not in the way, because everything that's happened to you is bringing you to a higher state of awareness all the time. But only if you are looking, only if you are conscious, because you can remain unconscious for your whole life and then come back again and have the same lessons all over again. So it's that expanding consciousness. You ask me, what is consciousness? It's understanding that there's much more than you can see with the eye, much more than you can, as the great, just the name suddenly escapes me for a second, but what is that quote, right? About what is really seen and felt is not seen by the eye, it's felt by the heart, right? So it's understanding that there's so much more to life than we see with this limited lens called the eye. We don't see with the eye, we see through the eye, right? So we have to remember that. And we see the world not as it is, we see it as we are. And we are conditioned, by the environment that we're in. And we spend most of our time, 97% of our lifetime is unconscious. We're always unconscious. So we have to say to ourselves all the time, how can I become more conscious? How can I be awake to what's really going on here? How can I really be awake to everything, how it's connected, and how everything is always a great lesson for me? Everything's a spiritual lesson, everything, right?
Amazing. And I'm just thinking ahead into what people can experience on Tuesday. And I just want to thank you for one moment, because, when we first met, we did our work with Tony Robbins, and then in the final part before we departed the event, there were several things you said to me that really helped me find and feel into that inner power within me. That at that point I was still searching for that. Before it was, this personal journey had taken me so far, but there was this inner power and strength that I was looking to really unravel. And there was a few things. You just looked me in the eye, and you saw something in me that I've been looking for a long time. And it gave me the power to feel it and see it inside of myself. I'm having that external guide. And I think I want to thank you and honor you for that, bro. That was, 10 plus years ago now, probably. But what I'm excited for is the journey that you've been on, and the way that you're influencing others now. I really want to kind of dive into this place now, because what I've experienced at several turning points during my life is taken an external source of wisdom to help me see something that was already there inside of myself, but just needed to be brought out. And I think for those people going through challenge, or they're searching for something, maybe they don't know what it is they're searching for yet. They're on the path, they're on a journey, they've done all this different personal development, but still, there's something holding them back. They're still not feeling into where they want to go. I really want to encourage those people to be at the event on Tuesday. And I just want to speak into what you're planning to talk about on Tuesday, and to speak into those people who have yet to decide whether they're going to come, to help them make that decision to be there. Because I know, you've been an enormous benefit to my life, and I know you've impacted thousands and thousands of people around the world. And we want to help as many people experience the power of your work on Tuesday. So for those attending on Tuesday, could you give a little trailer in terms of what you'll be speaking about and the kind of work you'll be delivering? And those on the fence, you know, what can we say to help them make the decision?
Yeah, well, on Tuesday, I'm going to be speaking about the awakened soul. And I'm going to be speaking specifically about the false definitions and false premises that you formed when you were very young that are separating you from your true nature. I'm going to be speaking about the lies, the biggest lies that we buy into hook, line, and sinker without even questioning it, because we're way too young to even question it. So by the time we're an adult, it's become such a strong mental construct that we don't even question it. And those lies are the very same things that separate us from who we really are and separate us from our greatness. I'm going to be speaking about, you know, how you can experience even more joy in your life, even more peace, inner peace, even more contentment, more fulfillment. If you want more success in your career, if you want to have a better relationship with yourself and other people, if you want to be a better parent, if you want to make more money, if you want to grow your business, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, any of those things, whether it's making lots of money, you know, building a massive business, connecting with people, becoming a great parent, being a great lover, being a great husband or wife, you need to understand yourself at a very deep level. And you need to remember that what prevents you from understanding yourself at a deep level is the false premise that you have about who you think you are. There's a great line that I got from a friend of mine. And he said that it's not what you think you are that holds you back. It's what you think you're not. And that's what I'm going to be speaking about. What you think you're not is holding you back. And we don't give enough conversation to that because we have all these false definitions around what this subject is. And again, pertaining to what we said earlier, you and I, about the connotations surrounding spiritual consciousness or the subject of spiritual psychology. And people they always ask me the same question, is it religious? And I say, no. I mean, what is religion? Religion is a man-made construct. Spirituality is an eternal truth. And those are two very different things. One's a man-made construct, and it's man-made out of fear and out of the lack of understanding. The other one is an eternal truth. It's always been, it always will be, it will always be as it is, right? So that's what I'm going to be sharing with people. I'm going to be sharing with them how they can really, I'm going to give also some very practical things that people can use immediately in any situation to really get themselves, you know, to interrupt their, you know, they might find themselves in a stressful situation, as most people do. And I'm going to help people to be able to really interrupt any stressful situations where they can cut straight through all of the bullshit and get access to the real truth in any moment and find the right answer, which always exists inside of ourselves at a higher level. Yeah, really helping people to get into the highest part of themselves as quickly as possible. And, you know, just really cutting out all the funk or any of the stuff that really prevents people from actually breaking through what stops them day to day.
Cool, man. I'm ready. So if anyone's on the fence after that, you know, I don't know what we can do to get someone there. So we're really looking forward to having you, Allan. It's going to be an incredible evening. For those of you who came into our January event with Brian Main, will know the atmosphere we had in the room. You know, if you haven't been to the Yes Group before, let me just tell you a little bit about what you can expect. This Tuesday, we've got two fantastic speakers. Allan's our headline speaker, delivering everything he's just shared. And I know Allan always over delivers, so there'll always be more. We'll also be joined by Abby Blears, who's one of the UK's leading matchmakers and dating coaches. She's going to be talking about the 5 love languages to help you understand how each of us have a unique DNA encoding in terms of how we express and receive love, and how you can optimize that to understand how you can better improve your personal relationships, your intimate relationships, but also, like Allan's been talking about, how you can get that deeper insight of yourself so that you can accelerate and evolve your growth. So we're going to have 2 amazing speakers, but not only that, we've got a room full of like-minded people who are looking for more. They are the people on that journey. They are your peer group that can help you accelerate your results. So it's all very well coming to hear some amazing speakers, but actually having people in your community in Bristol with you on the journey is what we believe is most powerful. So you'll connect with a peer group of people that can help you stay accountable. You can have the deep conversations that you perhaps can't have elsewhere. This is going to be a really powerful, high energy event. It's going to be a real impactful night. So if you haven't got your ticket already, please do click the link below this video. You'll see all the options that are available to you. We are going to have a full house again, like we did in January. You know, there'll be no seats spare. So please do make sure, if you haven't already got your ticket now, take action. Get your ticket. It's going to be an amazing night. So Allan, some closing words from you. For anyone that's still on the fence, what would you say to them about Tuesday night?
Well, what I would say is that if you enjoyed Brian Main, I expect that your audience enjoyed Brian Main. Brian's an awesome dude, a good friend of mine. I love listening to Brian speak. He's such a beautiful soul. And if you enjoyed Brian, then you will definitely enjoy my talk, because there's some great synergy there and there's a little bit of overlap there. If you're still sitting on the fence, what I would say to you is that there's nothing more important than understanding what I'm going to share with you on Tuesday evening. I'm not saying that, and you know, I'm aware of how that might sound, you know, and it's not from an egotistical point of view. It's just, it's really because when you understand what I'm going to share with you on Tuesday night, then what will it do for you? It will help you to evaporate any fear that you have. And people, whether they know it or not, most people that I encounter all the time at every level of business, and I can tell you right now, you know, I've got even coaching Springbok rugby players, you know, we've all got fear, all of us. And when you speak to people, their fear is unconscious and they're fearful of the future. They're fearful of, you know, what may be showing up. When I share with you on Tuesday night what I'm going to share with you, it's going to help you to dissipate and evaporate any fear you might have about your life not unfolding the way you want it to unfold. And it's going to help you to have a lot more certainty and be able to create the life of your dreams. What else can I say? I'm excited, man. I can't wait to get there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really awesome. Seriously, I've got such good stuff to share with you. It's going to be fantastic, man.
Amazing, amazing. I'm so excited. So as I said, check the link below. Bring a friend. You know, if you're nervous about coming to an event like this, you've never been to an event, a personal development event before, and you know it's the right thing for you, do bring a friend. You know, if we sell out, you know, we could always expand the room. The hotel will enable us to expand the room, but you know, our goal is to get as many people into the event so that we can impact as many people's lives as
Dan,
possible.
can I say one more thing quickly?
You may.
Just for everyone who's watching. What Dan said, that is a good point there. If you're watching this and you're thinking about coming, then please bring someone with you, because I can tell you right now, you never know whose life you might change. And one other thing just to share with you on the night is really my commitment to you is that you leave with a deep understanding of your own ability to heal your own life at every level and to be a healer for everyone in your life. It's my firm belief that every person is a healer. And the only thing that stops us from really tapping into that knowing and that conviction is the false premises that we carry. And when you can understand those false premises from an intellectual understanding, and that gets into your heart, and you know that that is not who you are, then you can recognize who you are really, and you can step into that real truth. I can tell you now that life then becomes complete joy, becomes a deep, fantastic experience of the magic that exists in all of us all the time. And that's the truth, my friends. So that is the way I live my life. And that is the true experience that we have all waiting for all of us. And the only thing that separates us from that, as I said, are these mental constructs that we buy into hook, line, and sinker when we're young. We don't question them. And then they become our reality as adults. And we don't think to question them until something happens. Something drastic like cancer or the loss of a loved one, and suddenly people start to reevaluate their lives. Don't wait for that to happen to you. Take action, get ahead of the curve. You know, really ask yourself, you know, what is it that I really need to understand about myself, and who am I really? Because when you know the answers to those questions, I can tell you now, then life will change for you in all ways.
Amazing, amazing. I will add before we wrap up is that you'll be helping by attending, you'll be helping to heal others by virtue of your presence, because the work we do in Bristol, we partner with two charity partners. One is Challenge Africa, whereby the patrons of that charity and the people behind that charity, they are giving people in Kenya a hand up instead of a hand out. They're working very, very hard to help build sustainable communities in Africa. They're one of our chosen charity partners. We're a non-profit. Every pound and penny over our costs goes to our chosen partners, one being Challenge Africa. So just by being there at the event, not only are you going to get this amazing content, but actually you will be helping heal part of the world by virtue of you attending. And secondly, on our own doorstep, we partner with a company called the Matthew Tree Project, or an organization called the Matthew Tree Project, who help give people in our community a hand up. Those who have gone through tragic circumstances, or they're in a severe state of poverty or disarray, they are working very, very hard to help transform people's lives in our local community. So all of our profits, if you will, all of our proceeds over costs go to both of these organizations. So you are helping to heal the people local to you and around the world just by being there. So
beautiful.
What we're trying to do is create a win-win situation for everyone. So we want to create an amazing audience for our speakers like Allan. We want to give you a life-changing event so that you can have some access to world-class information that can help you transform the quality of your life. But we're also looking to then help contribute to the world around us. So it's our pledge to do that. We are the home of growth and contribution, and that's why we do what we do here at the Yes Group. And it's an honor to have people like Allan come and serve us. So we're really looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday night. So please do, as I said, click the link below, make sure you signed up to your ticket, bring a friend, and we'll see you from 6:30 p.m. We have a networking session from 6:30 till 7. You'll get to meet some of the community. We'll be serving all kinds of refreshments from our partners who are sponsors for the evening. And we'll bring you into the room at 7 o'clock, ready to get started prompt for an amazing night with Abby and Allan, who are going to rock the stage for us this month. So look forward to see you on Tuesday night. It's this Tuesday, the 25th of February from 6:30 p.m. We'll be done by 9:30. If you want to hang around and hang out with us afterwards, we'll be hanging out just after the event downstairs. So please do sign up. We'll see you there from 6:30 on Tuesday night. It's been a pleasure having you tonight, Allan.
Thanks.
See you again on Tuesday.
Thanks, Dan. Look forward to seeing you, brother. Stay blessed.
Cool.